welcome to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Want to drop collision and comprehensive insurance? If you own a car, you don't have a choice about buying certain auto insurance coverage types. Depending on your state, you'll be buying some combination of liability auto insurance, uninsured motorist coverage, and possibly personal injury protection. No state requires collision and comprehensive coverage. But these are valuable insurance types that should not be overlooked. And if you have a car loan or lease, they are likely required. That's more to protect the lender or leasing company. Collision insurance pays for damage to your car after an accident if with an object, a pole, guard rail, or tree, for example, comprehensive. Coverage is not exactly comprehensive but does pay for car theft or damage to your vehicle from weather, floods, fire, vandalism, animal crashes, falling objects such as tree branches, and more. They are afraid that you won't fix the car, says Eric Poe, Chief Operating Officer of Cure Insurance. For example, in the unfortunate event of an accident that bends the car frame, Poe says that the insurer will likely declare the vehicle a total loss, and in turn, the lender will demand you pay the loan balance. The insurance payout goes to the lien holder rather than allowing the consumer to walk away from the unpaid loan. Dealers that lease cars and trucks usually require full coverage car insurance, including collision and comprehensive coverage. You cannot drop this coverage if a car is leased or a loan isn't paid off, says Amy Page, Executive Director of United Policyholders, a citizen advocacy group that specializes in insurance. And if you own a new or newest car outright and have the financial resources to buy a new car if you have to, you might not want to bother with collision and comprehensive coverage. This can ultimately lower your total car insurance payments by several $100s each year. Your vehicle's value may not be what you think it is. Computing the math for whether to drop collision and comprehensive insurance means assessing the value of your vehicle, and not the way you see it, but rather the way the insurer sees it. If an accident totals the car or truck, the insurer will reimburse the actual cash value of the car, such as the wholesale price at auction, not the sticker pricing on the dealer's lot. These prices are almost always much less than the resale values found on Edmunds and other guides, according to the Cure's poll. Weighing the deductible, car owners also need to weigh in advance the potential insurance payout of any collision or comprehensive claim. Both of these coverage types have deductibles, which reduce the amount of any insurance claims check. Deductible amounts can be in the thousands of dollars. If that's what you pick when you bought the policy, $2,000 deductible on a total loss car valued at $5,000 is only $3,000. You can choose a much lower deductible such as $250 or even possibly $0, but you'll pay more in premiums. The biggest misnomer is just have the lowest deductible, says Paul, because the lower deductible, the more you're increasing the risk to the insurer that you'll file a claim. Paul compares these two health insurance. The lower the deductible, the amount the policyholder pays for a doctor's visit, the more times you'll see the doctor, and it's true for auto insurance as well. By having a lower deductible, the car owner is more likely to file claims with the insurer for a couple of parking lot dents that they could fix at their own expense or simply ignore. Having a high deductible might ultimately save you money, Pooh says. If you don't submit a claim and your insurer costs exceed $1,000, you may be charged more for the next 3 years. Making the decision to drop the standard rule of thumb used to be that car owners should drop collision and comprehensive insurance when the car was 5 or 6 years old, or when the mileage reached the 100,000 mark. Plenty of websites weighed in on this. But now it depends on the value of the car and its replacement part. An expensive vehicle like a Mercedes may be worth the cost of collision and comprehensive coverage for several more years than a Nissan Sentra, and replacement parts might be so expensive as to easily exceed the deductible. These days, you're fixing a computer, not just a car, says Pooh, who had now replaced the headlamp on his Cadillac Escalade at the cost of $2,349. Older vehicles that are still drivable but have lost a huge chunk of their value through depreciation have their own calculus. When insuring this vehicle, it makes sense to drop one or both of this coverage. That's because your maximum payout, which is the value of the car minus your deductible amount, will likely be extremely low and not worth the insurance cost over time. Classic and vintage car owners have special considerations to make. Owners of the vehicles typically have classic car insurance. These policies are based on the car's accurate value instead of depreciation, and that could be based either on the car's condition or on the price of the special order parts necessary to repair it, says Loretta Waters, Vice President of the Insurance Information Institute. What about dropping just one? So, given the cost of collision and comprehensive coverage and the potential payouts, does it make sense at some point to keep on coverage and drop the other, and can you do this? The answer is yes and yes. While insurers generally sell them together and drivers of older cars often drop them at the same time, Paul and Waters both say that comprehensive insurance is a better value for the money than collision coverage. Bet on yourself to be a safe driver. When thinking about your auto insurance coverage, bet on yourself to be a safe driver. Advice for adding that 59% of all drivers haven't had an at-fault accident in 3 years. That reduces the statistical need for collision insurance, which pays for repairs if you crash into a building, tree, or someone else's car. But comprehensive insurance covers a whole host of common problems that don't always involve your own driving, such as fire and falling tree branches that crash the roof. Hailstorms are also a familiar threat, especially to car windshield. They're also vulnerable to road leaders scoop up and throw by car and truck tires. Some states now require insurers to repair windshield without cost to the car owner as a safety measure if the vehicle has comprehensive coverage. Other common threats include theft not only of a car but also of expensive parts like the airbags found on newer cars, and there is always the threat of a natural disaster. An estimated 250,000 vehicles owners lost their cars in 2012 when Superstorm Sandy inundated the New Jersey and New York coastlines. Ultimately, like most forms of insurance, it comes down to peace of mind before dropping comprehensive and collision, says Batch. Ask yourself, what's my plan to replace the car if it is lost? What if I plan to keep my car for a long time? Car owners who value durability and reliability often plan to keep their cars for as long as possible. For example, almost 14% of Toyota Prius owners keep their cars for 15 years or more, according to a study by iCars.com, which analyzed over 660,000 cars from the model years 1981 to 2005 to determine which types of car the original owners are most likely to keep for at least 15 years. If you're the type of car owner who plans to keep your car on the road for more than a decade, you'll want to think about the cost of collision and comprehensive over several years versus your maximum insurance payout, such as the value of the vehicle minus your deductible. Once your collision and comprehensive bill over 5 or so years approaches the potential insurance payout, it's probably not worth keeping the extra coverage. If I drop my collision insurance, can I keep my comprehensive insurance? While collision and comprehensive insurance are often purchased together, they are separate coverage types. You can drop one or both. Just keep in mind, if you drop collision or comprehensive insurance, you won't have coverage for certain types of problems. Collision insurance covers problems like car accident, while comprehensive insurance covers problems like car theft, collision with animals, vandalism, fire, floods, hail, and falling objects like tree branches. What if my lender or leasing agent requires full coverage car insurance? Well, there is no actual policy type known as full coverage car insurance. The term generally refers to a car insurance policy that has liability, collision, and comprehensive insurance. If you have a car loan or lease, you're likely required to have those coverage types. You won't be able to drop collision or comprehensive coverage if the car is leased or until your loan is paid off. Should I drop collision and comprehensive insurance if I can afford my insurance bill? If you cannot afford your car insurance bill, talk to your insurance agent before dropping any coverage types. Dropping collision or comprehensive coverage could leave you exposed to problems like car accident, car theft, vandalism, floods, and fire. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.